Nigel Farage is currently the front-runner to become MP for Clacton-on-Sea in Essex. That's according to this Survation poll published last week. It puts Farage well ahead of the competition with 42% of the votes. Meanwhile, the Tories and Labour are more or less neck and neck with 27 and 24% respectively. There's no doubting Farage's popularity in the area, but his lead has probably also been helped by this surprising revelation. Labour, it turns out, has given up the fight against Farage in Clacton. Now, Clacton was always going to be a difficult seat for Labour to take. In 2019, it gained just 19% of the vote, while the Tories won a majority of nearly 25,000. Despite that, the party did have a candidate. This is Jovan Owusu-Napul, pictured with Nigel Farage shortly after the Reform leader announced his candidacy in Clacton. Now, Owusu-Napul's amazing style in that photo, by the way, is that a Burberry trench coat? Soon garnered the kind of national headlines constituency candidates can only usually dream about. British GQ lauded the Labour candidate's fashion sense, describing him as using Windrush blazers and wavy knitwear to fight Nigel Farage. And meanwhile, the Daily Mirror dubbed him Britain's most stylish MP hopeful. And even the Daily Mail couldn't help but admire Owusu-Napul's very fashionable Oxford shirts and bold jumpers. The sudden national attention gave Owusu-Napul an opportunity to talk about why fighting Farage in Clacton was so important to him personally. Here's what he said to Politics Home. I'm doing this for every black and brown person in the country, and I'm doing this for a lot of working class people in the country. Impressive words. Very important to Owusu-Napul, perhaps, but far less important to Keir Starmer, it seems. That's because, according to a report in The Guardian, the media attention Owusu-Napul received didn't go down well with the Labour leader's team. A campaign source told the paper this. At one point, Jovan, his first name, was getting more retweets than Keir Starmer. The officials were furious with him and said he was distracting from Starmer's campaign. And that fury soon turned into action. At least that's the polite way of putting things. This letter, seen by the Guardian newspaper, was sent by Owusu-Napul's election agent to Labour General Secretary David Evans. Reform UK stands for everything we, the Labour Party, stand against. I'm struggling to come to terms, but it appears the party doesn't even want to be seen to be putting up a fight. Jovan was told by an official to never come back to Clacton, and yesterday was instructed to move to the West Midlands region. I'm concerned there will be follow-on questions. Members, supporters, and more worryingly, donators will be both angry and upset that it appears like the party that they have a great hope in isn't doing anything, not everything, anything, to show a battlefront to what many see as a catastrophe, not only for Clacton, but for the parliamentary system entirely. This is really key. The Labour candidate was told to never come back to Clacton by an official. Not, you're needed over there, sorry, maybe once a week. Never come back. He was sent into exile for being too popular. Like I say, he was literally sent to Coventry. And meanwhile, Clacton's CLP, its constituency Labour Party, has said they've been banned from printing leaflets, blocked from using campaigning software, and have been kicked out of the campaign's social media accounts. This is not normal behaviour. One member of the local party told The Guardian this. Our candidate gets some real traction, and with a week and a bit to go, they pull him out and will not allow him back into the constituency. By the way, how do you police that? What, are they going to have border guards? To fight for a place in this area's most important election in a generation. This is absolutely disgusting on every level. Jovan Owusu-Napul hasn't commented on the story so far, but the Labour Party has said this. We are working hard to deliver as many Labour MPs as possible in the general election, and our campaigners are bringing our message of change to people across the country, except Clacton, it seems. Maybe it's just the other 649 seats. Ash. This is a bizarre story. You can sometimes just flash up the headline. It's a bit misleading. People have a political agenda. The more I read, the more outlandish it became. What on earth is going on in Clacton-on-Sea?
I mean, it's really hard to come up with a plausible explanation for it, isn't it? Because if Labour Party HQ decided, actually, we don't want to split the Conservative vote, it's more important for us to keep Farage out of the Commons, you'd think that they would have shared that strategy with the Labour prospective parliamentary candidate and his election agent. If it is just as it's being reported to be, that there's simply a reluctance to have any candidate potentially overshadow Keir Starmer in any way, then I think that shows you the real weakness of the Starmer project. He can be riding high in the polls. He can be on course for a landslide, unlike anything in our lifetimes. And yet there's still a worry. Could someone be more popular than me? That sounds a little bit paranoid, my friend. It's giving, Roman imperial emperor, surrounded by the Praetorian Guard, worrying about his nephew who's got, the common touch and is good with the people.
The handsome, well-dressed nephew. Let's just say it. I do find Keir Starmer a very strange man. Strange people have turned out to be very good politicians. There's no two ways about that. But this kind of stuff, this micromanagement, by the way, you try that in government, you're going to look really weird really quickly.